I'm currently 28 weeks pregnant, which means I'm in my third trimester of my second baby. And for the most part, this time around, I literally wouldn't even realize that I was pregnant if it wasn't for the fact that my belly was growing. And that's because I felt so much better this pregnancy than I did with my first pregnancy. My energy levels are so much higher, which is crazy because I'm also taking care of an 18-month-old and I'm running my own business. I'm sleeping better. I'm not getting the aches and pains that I got a lot of with my first pregnancy. Especially with my first pregnancy, I had pelvic floor pain and I threw out my back once, and that was like so painful. It was almost on par with actual labor. I've also gained significantly less weight while still being in a healthy range. So throughout this pregnancy, I've been trying to figure out like what it is that I've been doing that's made it so that this pregnancy has been so much easier and I feel so much better and I haven't gained as much weight. And I can honestly boil it down to two main factors: what I'm eating and how I'm exercising, both of which are pretty drastically different from my first pregnancy. So today I'm sharing exactly what I eat while pregnant during my third trimester, as well as some of my top healthy pregnancy diet tips that have really worked out for me. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's in nutrition human performance. And let's start off with the morning. So nearly every single morning I go to the gym. I do this very first thing before I eat or drink anything other than water. And depending on the day, I'm either doing some type of heavier strength training or I'm just walking and stretching. But I do like to get out every day and get moving right away. So today was a strength training day. It was actually a lower body strength training day. So I was at the squat rack doing things like squats and deadlifts. And then I did some additional lower body strength training exercises outside of the squat rack. And this alone is pretty different from my last pregnancy. My last pregnancy, I was definitely a lot more gentle on myself, but to my detriment, because I do think that reducing my exercise level made it so that I lost muscle during my first pregnancy, which ultimately made it so that I gained more weight, craved more sugar, but also made it so that I had more aches and pains and had increased risk of injury, like with my pelvic floor and my back. Because with that first pregnancy, I'd lost the muscle and I just didn't have the strength anymore to help support my body during pregnancy. So now I'm focusing on still maintaining my strength training with heavier weights, but just of course modifying things for pregnancy. And then usually on Saturdays, I add in a Pilates class, which is also vastly different from last time. Pilates has been a good balance to my strength training routine during the week because it's more isometric, which means that you're holding the movements longer. The movements are being done at a lot slower of a pace, and it's more core work, which obviously I'm also adjusting things in order to make it pregnancy safe during the class. But all of this has made it so that I can actually support my belly. I can make it so that my back isn't hurting during pregnancy, which was a huge issue during that first pregnancy, and not lose muscle, which I do think has been a huge contributor to me not gaining as much weight, or as much fat rather, during this pregnancy. Which obviously, not that I'm concerned about weight gain during pregnancy, because obviously that just comes with growing a baby. But with my first pregnancy, I did gain a lot more weight, and it did really limit my function and really lower my energy levels. So for this time, being able to gain less body fat, at least for myself, while still making sure that my baby's growing at a good rate, has just made it so that my pregnancy experience has been so much easier. Okay, so after the gym, I do go home and I have my first meal. So this is around like 7:30 or 8 a.m. And my first meal has pretty much not changed since about week 5 of my pregnancy. And it's been a breakfast of scrambled eggs with a slice of real sourdough toast, 1/3 caffeinated coffee with a heavy splash of whole milk. I say splash, but really it's like almost a cup. This meal alone is the second part of why I think I've had such great results during this whole pregnancy. And it's because eggs are so satiating and do such a good job at preventing sugar cravings. During my first pregnancy, I really struggled with sugar cravings. Now, this obviously could be pregnancy dependent, like each pregnancy could be entirely different. So I'm not going to totally discount that. However, from a nutrition standpoint, eggs do really help to reduce sugar cravings. And I've been starting every single day with 3 scrambled eggs. During my first pregnancy, even though I was really trying my hardest not to eat sugar, it still led me to eat things like having cereal or granola on the occasion and having frozen yogurt. And that paired with lack muscle is part of why I think I gained more body fat during my first pregnancy. Not to mention those more sugary foods displace other higher quality nutrient dense foods that could be supporting my baby better. So starting my day with eggs, which is really rich in protein and high quality fats and nutrients that are crucial for a growing baby, has been the absolute game changer during this pregnancy. So pro tip, if you're able to tolerate eggs during pregnancy, highly recommend it. And I do have a slice of sourdough toast to go along with it, because if I just have eggs, it does give me a stomach ache. So I do need some type of toast. So I use a real sourdough, and there is a difference between just like regular store-bought sourdough and real fermented sourdough. Real fermented sourdough is lower glycemic load, which means it's not going to cause as big of a blood sugar spike. It also contains less gluten and anti-nutrients. The best way to know that you're getting real sourdough is to make it yourself. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't have the time, which it is very time consuming, then you could always check for a local baker, although that is really like the only way to find it is actually through a true local baker, and ask them if it is properly slow fermented sourdough. Just buying sourdough at the grocery store is not actually real sourdough and you don't get the same benefits. Okay, and then lunch varies from day to day, but today I had a yogurt bowl. We just got back from like a vacation slash baby moon in Hawaii, which was amazing and so relaxing, but being there really inspired me to have more yogurt bowls because I had a lot of that when I was there. So I use a base of Greek yogurt, which is a higher protein yogurt than just regular yogurt, and then I put in a scoop of my zero added sugar protein powder. This helps to bring the protein content up even higher, which having enough protein during pregnancy is very important for reducing pregnancy complications and of course for maintaining muscle mass during pregnancy. But I love adding a scoop of my vanilla protein powder into the yogurt because it gives this nice hint of vanilla sweetness but without any added sugar, because we only use monk fruit extract as a sweetener, which is a natural zero sugar sweetener. And I specifically designed our protein powder to actually taste amazing in recipes. It's not overpowering, it mixes so well into food. So if you want to check out our vanilla protein powder, it is absolutely loved by our community. The reviews are constantly coming in on how much people love our protein powder. But if you want to check it out, you can find it on our website at autumnelnutrition.shop, or you can find it pop up right here somewhere. So then on this base, I also like to add in fresh fruit, which also can depend on whatever I find available at the grocery store or a local farmer's market that week. But today I had some fresh strawberries, so I put that on top. And then I also add a combination of nuts and seeds depending on what I'm feeling. So it could be like walnuts or pumpkin seeds or pecans, macadamia nuts if I'm feeling like the tropical vibe. This meal is high in protein to keep me satisfied, but it also isn't like a super bulky meal, which as you get later in pregnancy, it's hard to eat very large meals because you just only have so much space in your stomach.
So Sage ended up eating a lot of my yogurt. So I have some cottage cheese that I'm having with this for extra protein, and then I also had this chickpea salad that I made yesterday for a recipe I'm testing, so I'm eating some of this as well since Miss Sagey ate so much of my food. Right? Yummy.
Okay, and then for dinner, this is where I really like to switch things up. I really like to add in a lot of flavor and get a little experimental. But tonight I was testing out this like spicy coconutty chicken and sweet potato recipe. I personally like to always make sure we switch things up for dinners because I get bored of what we're eating. But also for my 18-month-old Sage, I want to make sure I'm always exposing her to different flavors and textures to help prevent picky eating. And so far it's worked out really well. She loves pretty much everything that we eat and she eats whatever we eat. So tonight's meal is one that I'm kind of testing out for an upcoming summer meal plan, which is actually coming in just like a few months. So make sure you stay tuned because it's going to have over 50 brand new recipes, 6 weeks of meal planning, and a ton of new science-backed information to help support your goals. In fact, this is literally the program I'm going to be following postpartum after I have my baby in May. So I will be announcing once it's released on my YouTube channel, but you can also make sure that you're subscribed to my free newsletter to stay in the loop. It will be a limited release program, so you do not want to miss out on it. There's so many delicious new recipes. Plus, when you've signed up for my free weekly newsletter, you also get my 5-day free high protein meal plan. So I will also have that link for how to subscribe to the newsletter down in the description below. So for this dinner, I used chicken thighs and I marinated it in some garlic, some paprika, some cayenne, and then I cooked it with some coconut milk, some tomatoes and onions, and even more spices as well as some veggies. And then I let it simmer with some sweet potatoes until the potatoes were tender. And this was my first time trying out this meal. I was kind of just like throwing things together and oh my gosh, it was so tasty. So you might just see this recipe very soon in that upcoming meal plan. But this meal also helped provide the protein, which is crucial for pregnancy, as well as some high quality fat with the coconut milk and some medium glycemic load carbohydrates with the sweet potatoes, which I found for myself has really helped support my pregnancy, make sure that I'm eating enough to help support my growing baby too. Now, I also shared what I ate in a day during my second trimester of this pregnancy. So if you want to check that out, I'll have that video linked right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in and I'll see you in my next video.